Shall we extend a round of applause to the director, Behtash Sanaeeha, and also the director, Maryam Moghaddam. And of course, Maryam is the leading actor of this film. Thank you so much, Behtash and Maryam, for joining us. Can you hear us?
Hello. Yes, we hear you. And thank you for having us. We're happy to meet you.
Yeah, hello. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. We can. Thank you so much
Okay.
for joining us. Maybe to start off our proceedings, do you want to say a few words to the audience first, Behtash, Maryam?
Uh, yeah, well, during this, it's such a pity that we cannot be there with you to watch the film with you. But we're so happy to see you here in our computer. So, um, and thank you for coming and watching our film, and hope that you enjoyed the film.
Yes, and I'm also very happy that we are here with you, even very far, but we are together and we are here to answer all the questions of the spectators.
Okay, sure. Okay, maybe without further ado, maybe I'll just ask the first question to start off. So, what inspired you in making this film with this story, Maryam Behtash?
What is
İdeyi
it?
dinlemez.
Um, well, the idea comes from many people in our country and even in other countries with death penalty law, uh, which exists nowadays in many countries. But the character Mina, the main character, is very inspired of my mother's character, whose name is Mina. And my father, when I was a child, my father was executed. So, and we were three children who grow up with a single mother. And well, the story is not the same. My father was a political prisoner, but we were very inspired of my mother's life. But it's not the same story.
Okay,
Actually,
Behtash.
we did so many investigations for this script. Yes, as Mariam said, we were inspired by real Mina, her mother, but we read different cases in Iran and also in other countries with death penalty. We met so many judges, lawyers, and the families of the people who were involved in these cases. We wrote the first edition of the script 10 years ago, and then we tried to shoot it almost 9 years ago, but we couldn't find enough budget for the film because nobody wanted to put money in this film because the people thought that this film is going to be banned in Iran and it's not going to be screened in Iran and they cannot make their money back. So it was difficult to find the budget of the film. After 5 years, again, we started to try for budgeting the film. And also this time, the first time we couldn't get the permission for shooting. But the second time we tried harder and we could find the budget and get the permission to shoot.
The film is indeed very personal, but also very political. But I'm sure, well, this will be some of the questions the audience they have in mind now. So maybe I'll just open it up to the floor to see whether there are any questions from the audience. If you do have any questions, please raise your hand, and my colleague will pass you the microphone. 如果你哋有任何問題嘅話，請舉手啊，我哋可以俾個咪你。如果你想用中文問都得嘅，我可以幫你譯做英文。Okay. Any questions from the audience? Okay, maybe you are still reflecting on the film. So, Maryam, Behtash, maybe I'll just ask another of my question first. So, you said that when you first started the project, there were fears that the film will be banned in Iran because it's quite a controversial subject. So, is this issue actually very discussed among people a lot about the justice of having the death penalty?
Yes, actually, this is a very important issue in our country, and the people always talking about this. As I said, so many people are involved in different cases of death penalty and qisas. Qisas means retaliation, the rule of eye for an eye. When you kill someone, you should be killed. Or when you steal, your hand will be cut, or your fingers will be cut, or um,
Which
your,
comes from Sharia law.
yeah, it comes from Sharia law. So this, there are so many discussions about this law during the last 4 or 5 decades in Iran. So many people are against this law and they want to stop the law. Some human rights organizations also trying inside Iran and outside. And in the other hand, some people and also the authorities and officials, they believe that this law should be continued because it's coming from Quran and coming from our Sharia, and the discussions is still continuing. And but the law seems for the officials and the authorities untouchable and unchangeable because of the root of the law that they believe that it's coming from Quran. So this is a very, mm, I mean, crucial, critical issue for filmmakers, and it's not easy actually to make a film about this law, especially in this point of view that we had in the script. I mean, criticizing the law and the justice system. So it was very difficult for us to get the permission. It took 5 or 6 years, and finally we gave a more conservative script to the Ministry of Culture, something different than this version, to get the permission for shooting. Yeah, you wanna add something?
Um, no, this is something everyone discusses in our country, and which like destroys and damages all the people, not only the victims. And that's what we wanted to talk about in our film.
Indeed, this story is striking in the sense that of course, it talks about the victim of the system, but also it talks about how a person in the system is trying to make amends, trying to do something good to make up for the bad things in the system. So, how did you actually decide to include the character of Reza Amini, the judge, and to see how he actually interacts with Amina?
First of all, as I said, we wanted to show that this rule can damage everyone, can it everyone's comfort and life cost, and it's not the only the victim and victim's family, even the people with who are for this law. And then we didn't want to write a political just political story. We wanted to talk about human feelings, and this is kind of many feelings involved in this film, like a love story and the story of their children, and we wanted to have many people from both sides to have feelings, to show their feelings, and to show that this rule can damage everyone's life.
Okay. The ending itself is quite open-ended. So because there is the image of Mina actually poisoning Reza, but of course, in the next shot we see actually Reza sitting there, obviously alive. So why did you decide to have this final ending, which could be open to interpretation?
Actually, about the ending, first on the script, the film was finished in the car before the revenge scene. After when she discovers who is Reza. But then, 2, 3 weeks before the pre-production, we both decided to change the ending because we didn't want Mina to be passive. We didn't want to, I mean, the spectators to feel that maybe this relation can be continued because it's not possible for Mina to continue this relation. So we decided to put the final scene, and in that scene, we tried to have some kind of double meaning, which we have in our literature, in our poems. We call it in Farsi iham. So there is still a possibility of getting two kind of meanings. Is she getting revenge or doesn't she getting revenge? But as we both of us like Mina I mean to act morally, and because she's not a killer, and but also she doesn't want to continue with Reza. We put that scene, as you said, the long shot. So now, mm, what we want from the ending, and I think most of the spectators they get this, that she is getting revenge in her mind and in her imaginations, but in actual she's leaving him, and putting him in his jail, in his prison, in his house. So this is the meaning that both of us
Yes.
we like more, and I think the spectators will feel more about this.
And for us it's not an open end. It's an end, like it has an end.
Mhm. So the ending is actually Mina leaving Reza.
Yeah.
Yeah, whether it's like imagine to kill him or maybe just leave him. I mean, it's an ending in
Hmm.
itself.
Yes. Actually, leaving him is the 100% final of the film,
Mhm.
because she's not going to continue with him.
Mhm.
I
Okay.
mean, it's not possible for her to live with him anymore.
Mhm. Okay, maybe we'll see whether. Okay,
Okay.
there's some.
Hello, team. Thank you for the nice film. I'm a bit curious. I'm pretty curious about the little girl. Why she is always holding films, watching films. Is that is that certain kind of meaning, or is it a symbol of the love that the team towards film? Is there any meaning? Thank you.
Well, a lot that it's about our love to movies. We were cinephiles since we were children, and I think many people in Iran love movies because, like 40 years ago, after revolution, it was war. It was very hard days, and many things was forbidden in Iran. Films were forbidden. Films from before revolution, like that film Beta watches, which the name of film is also Beta. It's from before revolution, and it's forbidden in Iran. It's banned in Iran. All the films from before revolution. So we were even having a video player were forbidden. You could go to jail for that. In just first decades of revolution, after revolution. So we were kids and we didn't have any joy in life. It was war, it was revolution, it was everything forbidden, and we people smuggled movies to home, smuggled video players wrapped in blankets and hided it, and we watched a lot of movies. That was the only joy we had, and this still remains in our souls. We love movies. It's our biggest passion. So that's a little of our passion in Bita. Yes.
Okay. So maybe we'll see whether there are any other questions from the audience. Okay. Yes.
Hello. Thank you for the film, and I would like to ask if, like, many characters in the film say that it's God's arrangement or it's God's the decision towards something that isn't. Maybe it's not really correct, or like, is it also true that people in real life in Iran is explaining something that is not very correct in God's name? Like, yeah.
Yes. Um, of course, all the religious people, I think in mm, all the countries, but it's not so many countries with very religious, like governments. But they explain everything. You cannot question the rules because they come from God, and everything that you can criticize is not possible because it comes from God, and God is not questionable. That's exactly what the men of power want, because they're religious, wants to tell us, but not all the people. People are not deciding. The people just have to obey, and this is what the rules says, what the government says, because it's based of religion.
Okay. So any other questions from the audience?
Here, hello.
Okay.
Thank you very much for the film, and I would like to ask a question. I think your film certainly responds to the concept of patriarchy because it's about the absence of a father, and also there's a scene that Mina takes off her, I don't know how to describe the hijab, and shows
Yes.
her hair. And I realize it may be some kind of revolt because I realize that it's very important in Iranian culture, and also in a plot structure it is parallel because on the other side the judge doesn't have his wife aside him, and also the family members. So how did this idea come to you? And also, what do you think about the Iranian society, the public opinion on this issue? Is there any changes, or it is still very conservative phenomenon or situation? Thank you.
Well, I think to be free to choose your clothes, first of all, is dream of everyone, and many people in my country. Um, but we cannot, we're not even allowed to show in our movies a woman without the scarf, hijab. So every film, if they have a scene like that, you have to cut away that scene, or you have to they ban your film. So that's why no one makes films without scarf. But all the filmmakers, of course, they want to, because real women in real life don't wear scarf at home, at least, because we have a law that doesn't allow us to go without scarf at the street. But at home, and we can, no one has scarf. But we're not able to show it in Iran, the real women, how they are. So that scene was like a desire to show this is the real woman, at least when she goes to his room. But and as you said, some of the things you said is right, but I just want to say that women in Iran are like there is religious woman, there is less religious woman, there is non-religious woman, and not most of women want to have freedom to choose their dress, but we are not able.
Okay. I think we still have one more question from the audience, so please.
Hello, thank you for filming this film. And I want to ask a question since I seen a quote in Quran at the very beginning in the film and mentioned the a white cow. As a foreigner who don't know much about Islamic culture, does a white cow represent something in Islamic culture like purity and innocence, like the victim in the movie?
Yeah, I mean, all the rules and all the details of the retaliation law, the death penalty, I mean, the crime and the punishments are became in a chapter in Quran, one of the longest chapters of Quran, and the name of that chapter is cow, the cow. And there is a story there about Moses and the sons of Israel, which is a long story about killing and how to find the killer and on other stories. Also, in Islamic ceremonies inside Iran and also in other Shia countries, in some ceremonies, when all the people they become in a big place with big population, they sacrifice a cow to dedicate it to the cow, to the god. So it's a sacrifice for God, and we try to have this symbol or metaphor in our film to refer it as a victim, which the color is also cow, as an innocent victim, to refer it to Babak, the husbands of Mina, who has been executed innocently. Yeah, we try to have this symbol in the film and also in the name of the film.
Okay, I'm sure the audience still have a lot of questions to ask, but sadly we are running out of time. But may I just remind the audience that the film has been very successful at film festivals abroad. The film was in competition at the Berlin International Film Festival and at other film festivals as well. Also at home at the Faj International Film Festival in Iran, and of course the film is part of our New Talent Awards at the Hong Kong Asian Film Festival. So all the best, Behtash, Maryam, for the film, for the film at other future film festivals. So shall we extend another round of applause to the directors Behtash, Sanaeeha, and Maryam Moghaddam.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you for joining us. Bye-bye.
Thank you for having us in your festival. We're so happy to be there.
Yeah,
Yes.
Thank you so much. We hope we come there and be in your amazing festival in the future.
Yes, your next film, please do come here and join us, and we'll have an in-person conversation with you. Thank you so much, Behtash. Thank you,
Bye-bye.
Maryam. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.